You know, I've been thinking a lot about what time really is. And it's kind of wild when you really sit with it. Every single moment that passes, this second right now, and now this one, has this strange dual nature. It's always beginning and ending at the same time. That's literally what makes it time. It doesn't stand still. It's always moving, always slipping away the very instant it appears. We can't freeze it or hold onto it, and that's exactly what defines it. And honestly, when you think about it, that's not something to be sad about. It's not tragic that time has a beginning and that it'll eventually have an end, both of which are found in God. For people of faith, it's actually something deeply comforting, because if time began with God and will end in Him too, then all of it, the messy middle, the fleeting moments, even the pain and confusion, is still held within His purpose. The idea is that God, who rules over time, is steadily bringing the story to completion. He's not rushed, He's not behind schedule, and is not improvising. He's carefully and wisely finishing what He started, the good but fallen creation. And the beautiful thing is that nothing that happens in history, no matter how distorted or chaotic it seems, has the power to undo God's larger, eternal plan. From our limited, human perspective, it might look like evil wins sometimes, or like history is just random and unfair. But the text reminds us that, from God's view, His long-range purpose is steady and unshakable. Everything that unfolds in time, even the brokenness, is still within His reach, still part of a larger story He's working out across the ages. Now, when we think about how we experience all this, time, eternity, ourselves, it's fascinating. We only ever experience life as beings who live in time and in space. We can't separate ourselves from those two dimensions. You never experience your soul floating in some timeless, spaceless vacuum. You always experience it in your body, in a place, at a time. That's just how human existence works. So, in the same way, we can only experience the eternal, the idea of forever, from inside the pressures and limitations of time. That's why we often find it hard to really understand eternity. We are so tied to clocks and calendars and deadlines that our whole sense of reality is shaped by beginnings and endings. Because we are creatures of time, everything we know feels temporary. We measure life by seasons, years, and stages. We are constantly aware of things starting and stopping, days beginning and ending, people being born and dying, opportunities opening and closing. So when we try to imagine something eternal, something without any start or finish, our brains kind of short-circuit. We can only form faint, veiled ideas about it, fragile analogies, like shadows of what eternity really is. The text compares this beautifully. Just as God's immensity is beyond any possible measurement of size or space, eternity is beyond any possible stretch of time we can imagine. You could think of the longest possible span, billions of years, and eternity would still overflow it infinitely. It's not just a lot of time. It's something totally different in kind. Time is a small ripple within eternity, not the other way around. That's why, for us temporal beings, time remains such a mystery. We live inside it, we breathe it, move through it, and yet we can't step outside it to observe it objectively. There's no place or moment beyond time from which we can look back and say, now I see time as a whole. It's impossible. We are creatures locked inside the very flow we are trying to understand. So even though time is all around us, it's also kind of elusive. We can't grab it, can't see it in its entirety, can't explain why it moves the way it does. And yet, this is the setting where we are called to live, right here in the middle of time's current, with all its demands and limitations. We are supposed to understand ourselves as people who belong to eternity, but are living temporarily in time. It's like we are travelers moving through a land that's not our final home, accountable to the one who gave us time in the first place. That awareness, that our days are given to us, not owned by us, changes how we live them. Now, the text shifts to something really interesting, the idea of the now, that tiny, fleeting slice of time that separates the past from the future. It's the strangest thing because now is all we ever have, and yet we can't hold on to it. It's constantly disappearing. The moment you try to capture it, it's already gone. You can't bottle it up or freeze it in place. The best you can do is remember it, and even memory fades. That's why life in time is often compared to a dream. You wake up and realize that what seemed so vivid a moment ago has already slipped away. And yet, despite its fleeting nature, the present moment, this vanishing, now, is the only point from which we can ever experience anything. You can't live in the past. You can only recall it. You can't live in the future. You can only anticipate it. Everything you see, think, or feel happens through the little keyhole of this constantly moving instant we call the present. It's such a paradox. The present keeps dissolving, but it's the only place we ever really live. This is what the text means by saying that the present lies between two eternities. On one side is the eternity that we call the past, all that's already happened but is still, in some sense, present to God. On the other side is the eternity of the future, everything that hasn't yet unfolded, but already exists in God's awareness. Our little moment, this sliver of time we call now, is the bridge between the two. The funny thing is, even when we say the word now, the moment we are referring to has already passed. The now we just mentioned is already gone. So we live in this strange flow of passing moments, what the text calls a continuing refraction of the eternal. In other words, time is like the way light bends and scatters when it passes through a prism. The eternal, God's timeless reality, shines through into our world. But what we see is this constantly shifting pattern of colors and moments. And this brings us to something profound. God meets us in time. He interacts with us within the flow of moments, days, and years, but He Himself is not bound by them. He's the creator of time, so He exists beyond it. Only someone who is equally present to every moment, past, present, and future, can truly know the whole story of time. That's why we call Him God. This is what makes God so radically different from us. We live moment to moment, stringing together our memories of the past and our expectations of the future. Our lives are held together by memory and imagination. God, on the other hand, doesn't experience time that way. He doesn't look back or look forward. He simply is, eternally present to every moment. So while we can only know bits and pieces, little of what's happened and guesses about what might come, God knows time in its entirety. The whole sweep of history, from the first second to the last, is before Him all at once. But, and this is crucial, that doesn't mean He's forcing everything to happen a certain way. His knowing doesn't mean He's predetermining. His complete memory and foreknowledge don't coerce events or erase free will. Instead, God's relationship to time is completely different from ours. We remember our past, but only partially. We imagine our future, but it's uncertain and limited. God, however, is present to both, fully. He's not looking ahead as we do. He's already there. The past isn't gone to Him, and the future isn't hidden. He holds all of time simultaneously. The idea that God is present to all future moments is hard to grasp, but it's central to Christian thought. It means that God already knows the future, not because He's peeking into it from afar, but because He dwells there. He's already present in every tomorrow just as much as He is in today and yesterday. For Him, everything is present. There's no before or after. As one theologian put it, there's no foreknowledge or after-knowledge with God. All things are known to Him as present from eternity to eternity. But again, this doesn't mean God controls the future like a puppet master, overriding human freedom. Divine foreknowledge isn't the same as predetermination. It just means God already knows how our choices will unfold because He's already there when they do. He's seen every possible path, every hypothetical decision, every consequence. He knows how the free will of creatures interacts with all the countless contingencies of the world, and yet He lets it all play out. It's a paradox, but a beautiful one. God has already secured the final outcome, the redemption of creation, the triumph of good, yet He allows it to unfold in real time through the genuine choices of free creatures. It's like the end of the story is certain, but the way we experience the story still matters. Our decisions, our prayers, our acts of love or disobedience, They're all part of how the eternal plan unfolds within time. So nothing about. God's eternal presence takes away from the reality of human choice. Even though God dwells in the future as well as the now, we still experience time freely, moment by moment. Our lives are real. Our choices are meaningful. And somehow, in ways we can't fully comprehend, God's perfect knowledge and our human freedom coexist without cancelling each other out. That's the wonder of it. Time, this ever-flowing mystery we live in, is both our limitation and our gift. It's where we encounter God, where we make choices, where we love and learn. But behind it all, beyond it all, God holds every moment, not as a sequence, but as a whole, eternal reality. When you think of it that way, it changes how you see your days. Every fleeting now is touched by eternity. Every moment you live is a doorway through which God can meet you. The same God who was before time began and who will be after it ends. And somehow, that makes even the passing seconds of our lives sacred.